Trump White House is now being accused of trying to cover up a questionable phone call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine. That is according to the whistleblower complaint, which was released Thursday. Also alleges that the president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was very much involved.
And yet the Oval Office is dismissing the allegations. Yesterday, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham called the complaint, quote, nothing more than a collection of third-hand accounts, all of which show nothing improper. Joining us with his take on the allegations against the president, his thoughts on the impeachment inquiry, is House Foreign Affairs Committee member Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee. Congressman, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely, sir. So first off, let's begin with the whistleblower complaint. That's obviously, of course, what's sweeping Washington along with the impeachment inquiry. What's your reaction after having digested that, as well as the transcript of the president's phone call with the president of Ukraine?
Well, first of all, I think one interesting aspect of it is the fact that you have 12 people that are listening in on this phone call, and none of them file a complaint. It's a person that overhears something in a third-person type scenario. And to me, that's, and the report's written, and I suspect more is going to come out about it, about who wrote, actually, who was involved in it. To me, it reeks of deep state. It's, it's ruling class kind of thing.
We don't have to judge by, who may have been the person to blow the whistle here. We've got the transcript. Did you find anything in the transcript troubling, the idea that the president may have been pressuring a foreign ally to dig up dirt on a political opponent? Is that troubling to you?
No. The way I read it, I didn't read it that way at all, actually. If you think about it, every president, when you support another country or whatever, there's obviously strings attached to it, and I didn't gather any of that from that conversation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. One thing, Congressman, that we've been asking everybody who comes on the show who's in the United States Congress, do you think that there should be legislation barring the children of any high government official like the vice president from sitting on the board of a foreign company that has interests in the United States?
I think it should be disclosed. You're going to dig into the weeds. I don't know that you're going to get into all that, and then how are you going to enforce it? Actually, it's
right.
Just a word. Your honor. I mean, that gummit. We're in Washington D.C. If you trust anybody up here, I need to take you back to Tennessee and put you on some real estate because this bunch up here. It's not. You're living in an idealistic world. It's like I tell the folks back home that this Washington's just like House of Cards, the TV show, except on the TV show they passed a bill for education in 5 weeks, and we're not doing anything up here in 5 weeks. And this is part of the frustration. And truly, if the Democrats had the vote for impeachment, we've called it up weeks ago. They're just holding out. Nobody wants to make any tough decisions. We're not dealing with the border situation. We're not dealing with health care. We're not. And my all-time favorite is in 20 years we haven't passed a budget. To me, that's criminal. That's where we should be pulling some people out of office for. And yet we're not doing it. I serve on the budget committee, and I think the vast majority of the people on that committee are on there because they're being punished. I actually asked to be on that committee because I think that's imperative to our nation. That's one thing we're constitutionally, the way I read it, we're constitutionally mandated to do is pass a budget. We haven't done it in 20 years, and yet nobody's raising Cain about it. To me, that's really disgusting, and I think we need to step back and look at why we're here. And all this infighting doesn't do any good. If they had the votes to impeach President Trump, I suspect Ms. Pelosi would have brought it up weeks ago, and yet they don't. And this is just and two. When Chairman Schiff started off the hearing yesterday, he reads from an account that he admits is a parody later, but that is what some major news networks are quoting as fact, and it's typical Washington.
A parody account.
Yeah, but I know it, but you watch.
Let me ask you, though, on
Go
the
ahead.
transcript, you said you didn't read into it what I said, that the president was pressuring Ukraine to look into Biden and whether there was any corruption there and essentially dig up dirt on a potential political opponent. So what did you read in that conversation? I mean, what did you think that the president was asking for when he did bring up Vice President Biden?
I mean, first of all, do you think the president would have done anything illegal knowing that 12 people were listening in on it? First of all, I think it was just a conversation between two heads of state. It was one of those check the box kind of things. He was talking about something that had occurred when he wasn't president, yet Vice President Biden has done almost the exact same thing, and yet it's the old adage: I'm going to accuse you of doing what you're actually doing, and so I just find that this is all just very confusing to the public, and to me personally, I just don't see it going anywhere really. I think it's just more of the same, and it's just kicking the can down the road on the topics that we should really be focusing on. And unfortunately, we don't have the guts up here, either party, to address those real issues. And I can't take any moral high ground, because our party, as one of the members of Congress said earlier across the aisle, has stated that when the Republicans had all four branches of government, well, there's only three, but the point is we did have all three, and we didn't do what we said we should have done, and the American public is fed up with it. We've got one more bite at the apple, I think, and then you better watch out for a third party.
Well, a rare moment of honesty there from an elected official. We appreciate that, sir. And we're gonna see you soon. Next on Rising, Senator Elizabeth Warren went from sitting out on the 2016 election to leading the pack in 2020.
So why does she seem to resonate with so many Democratic primary voters this election cycle? And could that energy carry her right into the White House in 2020? We're going to explore that when Rising returns.